Beloved ones, it is with great joy that we, the Council of Eight, join you once again for this your fifth lesson in what we are calling Heaven and Hell. How does one tell? You, beloveds, have been going through the past month through a series of experiences which always occurs when one takes on a class of the pearls, designed to help you become aware of that which you think and that which you feel, whether you know it or not. For the most part, spirits having a human experience until they awaken and remember the truth of their beings, live through series after series after series of repetitive events. And we do not mean that you recognize in your life, although some of you do, that you are repetitively living the same experiences over and over again. We mean that there is a pattern within the soul nature of your being. That some of you are here because you wish to alter it. Some of you are here because you wish to enhance it. Some of you are here because you wish to simply override it all. In this excursion between that which you call heaven and that which you call hell, to this point you have been learning that some of what you called hell could actually be another person's heaven, and some of what you call heaven could not interest another if you paid them, yes? And so at this moment, we ask if there is anything that any of you present wish to share of your experiences that you are undergoing, that either you are in a hellish type experience and do not know how to extract yourself, or you have realized something else that has expanded your awareness about what heaven itself from your perspective is.
I'm experiencing the 0 point more and more. It just makes my whole day just so pleasant.
Indeed. So you are experiencing that which we are calling 0 point, which is that place of peace within the self that began with the first pearl, which is that true joy is tranquility, yes?
Yes.
And you are discovering within yourself that from this point within, if you imagine yourself on a line and part of life on one side is expansion and part of life on the other side is contraction, you are in the middle, you are at the 0 point. And you can observe life. In other words, you are the witness, yes? You are observing what is occurring and what interactions are happening. And you are choosing whether to be involved with them, yes?
Yes, I am.
Indeed, beloved, that is a mastery point. And we will tell you that part of the reason that you have discovered this place within yourself is because of the program that runs within you about what heaven itself is. In your world, if one is in heaven, then one is looking out for family and loved ones, and one is rarely bothered by anything else. And so you are experiencing exactly that because you have decided to own heaven in this moment, as we have been talking about the contrast between what is heaven and what is hell. This is an example, beloved, of a programming that suits you. It is an example of how to program the atoms and molecules of life in such a way that when you live with a particular label, such as is heaven, I am in heaven, then all of life unfolds in a masterly organized way in front of you, and you become an interactive part of being able to save the lives of others and being able to touch into the hearts and minds of others in the way that a masterly consciousness would. Indeed, yes? May it continue for your being, so be it. Anyone else?
Something happened a couple of days ago that surprised me in my practice, and I guess some time ago I would have really gone into a spiral and worry. However, I listened to the fourth message from you, Lady Natasha, last night, and it was with such ease I was able to allow it to move and say, everything's going to work out. And I had that feeling. I was able to sleep and let it go. So bit by bit, I think it's that heaven taking over.
Indeed. And so, beloved, you had a surprise, as it were, that you did not expect from the universe. Something that affected your finance and your future. But rather than allowing what would have been a previous interaction or reaction with the atoms and molecules of life that would have allowed it to have the label of hell, fear or worry or concern, you are able within yourself to move to the higher realm, the vibrating frequency that you call heaven within the self, and realize that because that is the truer wisdom of your being, that when you are in the heavenly place, all does work out. Yes? Yes. Indeed. And it is new for you in the moment, so you cannot regale us with how it becomes a new truth and what that truth is, but we will be listening for it. Yes? Indeed. So what those who have shared have demonstrated is that when new information and the energy that comes with it, for always remember, beloveds, that when you partake of information from another dimension, there is an energy that comes with it that flows to you to assist and help expand your consciousness. Not just the consciousness of your mental body, but the consciousness in the atoms and molecules of all of your 7 bodies. As you benefit from this receptivity, you grow and expand, are not hindered by one body over another. It creates a more balancing effect. The pearls, thus named because when a grain of sand finds its way into an oyster, the oyster cannot complain about it. It has no fingers or any way to get it out of itself, so it created a way to turn the sand, the irritation, into something beautiful. We, the Council of 8, believe a pearl is a symbol for the 0 point on planet Earth in consciousness when you are learning how to take whatever are irritations based on your consciousness, old thought forms, old feelings, that which you have lived through without finding resolution, and be able to resolve it and alter it and turn the experience of having had it from one of hell into one of heaven, into your own pearl, as it were. We wish to speak of the backdrop of heaven and hell. Each of you in your lives share similarities, but you also share differences. Your home is different. You each have a different backdrop. Some of you have those who live in your home, some do not. Some have those who have creatures in their homes, some do not. Some have homes that are haunted, some do not. Similarly to a workplace, if you still have one, but even when you did, they were different backdrops. When you are driving on the road, one person may pass an accident that has just happened. Another will bypass it entirely. Some will choose a route that has detours. Others will choose a route that is entirely clear. The backdrop in your life. When you are just waking up, the backdrop in your life is designed to push heaven or hell buttons within yourself. It is designed so that when you are moving through life, you can notice within your being what feels to you heavenly or what feels to you irritating. What feels to you like a peace or what feels to you like conflict. For we have as a group generally settled on the idea that heaven is peaceful within the self and hell is conflict within the self. Although our caveat is we understand that for many, peace would be hell within the self, and conflict would be great joy and heaven within the self. So your definition and your experience is entirely yours. You may share it with those who have your same religion or your same cultural practices, or you may be entirely unique in that which is your truth. The key phrase here, beloveds, is that which is your truth. And your backdrop of life while you are living your hell and your heaven is your truth, the truth that you are experiencing. We, the Council of 8, do not arrive in your lives to point the finger at anyone's truth. Because as we say, as you know, your truth is your truth until it is not. So hell around you is your hell until it is not. When you have found the pearl of the 0 point, it is no longer the same truth. And your heaven is your truth until it is not. The beauty of this planet upon which you find yourselves, planet Earth, is that it has a basic magic to its being. All that can occur on planet Earth can occur anywhere. You can be living peace in your life where there can be war in someone else's. You can be living creative expansion in your life where there is writer's block in another's. You can be living in a country where the leadership is divinely inspired, or you can be living in a country where a dictator controls all. The backdrop is something you have chosen. Not chosen from the point of view as I sit down now before I inhabit this body and I choose to have this around me, but chosen because you yourself are a collective array of infinite choices that you have made in all of your lives. And all of these lives together have created the backdrop where you find yourself. So those of you listening to this right now are not living in the outback, as it were, in a cave or on top of a mountain or in solitary confinement somewhere. You are where you find yourself in this moment. That is the backdrop, that is the collective organization of all of your thoughts and feelings and all of your experiences and all of your interactions that will provide for you the place and the space to have continued input on the journey you are choosing. We realize this is a great deal of words to attempt to explain the backdrop of your life. But will you have understood? Yes? Indeed. There is a play called Our Town, yes? And much of the play is backdrop that shows the busyness of a town. Whereas the actual interaction of life takes place between a few characters that are in the town. It is a lot like that. This is not to say that in the backdrop there are not people going about their lives and having a life. This is to say that where you place your attention is where your consciousness is. That upon which you focus is that which you are. So in one moment you may be focused upon an emergency of some sort, or in another moment you may be focused upon the moonlight as you sit in a boat on the darkened waters, peacefully listening to night sounds. There is in all of you present, beloveds, that which desires stimulation and that which desires peace. And the purpose of the Heaven and Hell series is to help you recognize in yourself what kind of stimulation is it that you desire in consciousness, and what kind of peace is it you desire. For many who have lived eternal lives of immortal awareness, these great gods of consciousness at times simply wish to be on a little planet such as Earth in the middle of nowhere, in a universe far, far away, where they do not remember that they can create anything and everything everywhere, where they get caught up in the trials and tribulations of forgetting their gods, and try to have a vacation, as it were. Some desiring that vacation to be perhaps full of hell and brimfire, some desiring the vacation to be so curious and unpredictable that every moment is stimulating. Some desire there to be such challenges to overcome that in one's woe at overcoming them, one actually begins to remember oneself as the creator of those experiences all along. So your truth, beloveds, is that no one put you here. No one said off to planet Earth with you. No one said this is how your life will be limited. You are the sum total of all of your heavens and hells. And in these moments of living on planet Earth, you are choosing to weave them together in what you desire them to be. You are part of the backdrop, but the main focus of your life is your here and now, awakening to the God you are, remembering that life is beautiful, and you are in charge of whether you are experiencing life as heaven or hell.